Keith Thomas, CEO of the Port Adelaide Footy Club, just saying during the break, what a couple of weeks. You smashed Geelong, get smashed by the Bulldogs, then the showdowns come out. Welcome, Keith. How are you?
Well, I'm very well, and gee, welcome to the Port Club. It's great to have you here, guys. Thank you very much for coming down and supporting us.
It's a big time, isn't it? I mean, and no doubt this game is showdown 47. I think it's a make or break game, particularly for you guys. Well, I penciled in last week as a win. It didn't happen, but probably didn't have you winning against Geelong. But if you turn up with your best, you can obviously win. What's it been like the last week, a euphoric week after the win against Geelong? Then it's really been a bit of doom and gloom all around the place. Maybe not to you, but outside. So how would you relate the week?
Well, look, it would be absolutely wrong to think that we miss all the doom and gloom. The club is really aware of how our inconsistency over the last few weeks is making us feel, and how our supporters feel, and how we feel about it. And I think that's where we've gone this week. Is you saw Ken in the post match. He was very he was very honest in his appraisal about identity, and he said he understands the tag of people calling us untrustworthy, and I think that's a really interesting conversation for our group to sort of get into, because I don't know, Timmy, when I was playing against Port Adelaide and against you guys, you weren't always the best team, but Port Adelaide always turned up, and it always felt to me as if winning this game of footy meant more to Port Adelaide than anyone else. It always felt that way. And you had to lift yourself. You had to find something to match that, to give yourself a chance. And what that turned into was a ferocious attack on the footy all the time. It never varied. And we're desperately looking for that as a club right now. And I think that you can talk about all the the differences between the AFL and the old days and the SNAFL and whatever, but I reckon that's a constant. So that's how I feel about it.
It's for the coach to come out and saying, and he's right, unreliable, inconsistent, untrustworthy. I mean, they are words he used. But you must be clutching for the answers. And I look at Port Adelaide and look at your squad. You've got some great youth. You've got a few good senior players. It looks to be a really good squad, and it must be up above the shoulders when you have inconsistent performances, because I don't think Port Adelaide at any stage looked like winning last week in the wet, and I thought the conditions would have suited.
Yeah. Now, look, I think that there's when you get into these moments, the dialogue sort of moves around a little bit, and people are sort of drawing connections to previous years, and that this is an ongoing trend and all those sorts of things. I don't really buy into that. I think that this year's group is different. The coach is different. Yes, the outcomes might look similar, but I think that what's driving them may be slightly different. But and there is youth and there is change in this group. But I reckon for me, and I think the leaders of the group will be saying this, is that around the contest, through the midfield, where your most experienced players are, who have been there, done that. It's time for them to really stand up, deliver what they love to deliver, which is a really physical contest. There might have been just a lapse against Fremantle for half a quarter or whatever, but it's enough. In tight games, it's enough, and our challenge is just to maintain our intensity, through the contest, through the midfield mainly. Yes, there's going to be fluctuations up and down around the place, but through the midfield, and we'll be a really good side. I think that's the missing link for us at the moment.
The bit you spoke about earlier, that when I arrived here at Albany, is already preset inside the football club.
It's in the DNA.
It's in the DNA of the football club that every time you go near that ball, there is an unwritten law that you're not allowed to deviate. When you back, you're not allowed to duck your head or close your eyes and miss the contest. You're not allowed to avoid body contact. And that is already in the DNA of the football club. What I am seeing is that 1 week, it is there, and the people are so proud of what they see. The following week, you can see it in the very first 5 minutes that it's not there. That is the key to unlocking the genius of coaching, I presume. But that is the most frustrating thing for supporters.
Yeah, and I understand that sentiment, and I think that it is a. Yeah, no one goes out there not to try or not to put them. We know all that, right? But the really good players and the really good sides
bring it every week.
They deliver it every week. So
Yeah,
I've been talking to a lot of the assistant coaches, Brogues, Chad Corns, Vossi, and my questioning to them is, okay, so when we win, we obviously know what we've done that week. Whatever we're doing the following week, we might have to look at flipping it because it doesn't seem to be...
Yeah.
You know how the joy of winning sometimes, the intensity during the week may just fall down a little bit, subconsciously, not consciously. Perhaps there needs to be some sort of flip. I even spoke about in the warm-up. Do we need to do something different in the warm-up? I said Chad Corns one end, Dean Brogan the other, and good luck in the middle.
I'm clearly not close enough to all that sort of stuff, and I know the guys will be, you speak to the players, and they're as disappointed as we are, but that the step from being midfield, mid-ground to being really good requires that. And you've got to find the answer to it, and I think that again, I've heard commentary all week about being a responsive team and needing external sort of stimulus and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know whether that's true or not, but the bottom line is you've got to be able to deliver it.
Yeah, it could be the most boring week in football, but the very day you step out, and you need that again. And
when we talk about identity, that's what we mean. Yeah.
Just about out of time. I just want to ask you about a couple of players. And Ken Hinkley, when Justin Westhoff was dropped, said the hardest decision he's ever made. And I think he's heart and soul of Port. Hope he's back this week, particularly for Showdown. How's he been travelling in your eyes? And Ollie Wines has been bashed from pillar to post too. He, like a few others, has had a few quiet weeks and perhaps not a great one last week. But he's a very good player. He's a co-skipper, so he has to play in my eyes. But how have they been going from your point of view?
So with Westy, if you remember, he got off to a flying start this year. Kicked five and looked terrific. And he is the most selfless player you'll ever meet. And he took the disappointment. He was really disappointed about his form and being dropped. He took it. He went back, and I just saw him running from forward pocket to back pocket all day, picking up. So he responded brilliantly, and he's
37 possessions.
And he's put himself right back in the hunt. Ollie is a magnificent young man, a great player. He had a bad day. We've all had bad days. He will bounce back. He'll be enormously physical, and there's no question at all about Ollie.
Keith, good luck. Thanks for joining us.
Guys. No worries.
Look forward to the game. Showdown 47, Keith Thomas there.